We were door knocking in the most luxury market there was.
Yep.
And really, from not having much of a track record, suddenly we were selling $6+ million teardowns.
So never judge a book by its cover. You know, in
Yeah.
luxury, we've shown $70, $80 million homes or $50 million pieces of land where somebody shows up in a beaten up $20,000 car. Never turn your nose up at something, never turn business away, because you just never know. Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Rise Above the Ranks, brought to you by Estate Media. I'm James, I'm here with my co-host David, and today we are exploring a very exciting corner of the industry, which is the world of high-end real estate and the key forces that are shaping this exclusive market. From record-breaking sales to lifestyle-driven purchases, the real estate market continues to evolve in extremely exciting ways.
Today, we will break down the latest trends, explore what is shaping buyer preferences, and share how agents can position themselves in this dynamic sector.
What makes luxury real estate so different? We've spoken about it before. Is it the buyers? Is it the properties? Or is it something else entirely, in your opinion?
I mean, the properties are typically huge and beautiful and well located. I mean, people love to look at beautiful real estate, right? And we get to look at it, experience it, sell it. It's a big deal. I mean, it's incredible. So I think it's you know, people say it's just a number. Yes, it is. Negotiating wise, buyer wise, seller wise, everyone's going to be emotional. Some people more emotional, some people less emotional. But I just think the bottom line is the product. With luxury real estate, you're selling something normally that's beautiful, something that's substantial, and it really pertains to the product and the lifestyle that it allows.
And I think agents literally don't break into this luxury market because of fear. And it always cracks me up because luxury, when you're talking about, if your average price point's $1 million and you're trying to get into the $5, $10, $15 million price point, the chances are that those sellers have done 5, 10 real estate transactions in their life versus one. Once you break into luxury, the misconception is it's going to be so much harder. It's impossible. I can't do it. I'm not good enough. It's actually easier in some ways. Don't get me wrong, there's very complicated, complex deals, but the people that you start to work with and deal with, they're more familiar with real estate transactions. They're more familiar with structure, and they're usually more definitive in terms of what they want. So break into that market. There's no secrets to it, and you'll be pleasantly surprised. What was your first experience, Dave, or should I say, what was our first experience actually selling luxury real estate like?
We worked with a lot of teardowns, though, didn't we? So,
we did. We sold a lot of dirt. That was luxury, but in a different way.
Yeah,
but how was that?
In the markets, I mean, Bel Air, for example, right, where we do an incredible amount of business to this very day, we would door knock around Bel Air, and because how are we going to get into a market? How are we going to compete with agents that have sold billions in real estate, that have sold all the houses in Bel Air and Holmby Hills? How are we going to compete with that with zero track records? So we were actually pretty creative because at the time, it was a lot about, you know, tear downs, building bigger houses on lots, maximizing the lot value. So for us, it was about, listen, if I'm going to approach a developer and offer them a deal, they're going to crunch the numbers and they're going to buy it if it makes sense. They don't really care how much real estate we've sold before. If the deal makes sense, they're going to buy it. And that's what we were doing. We were door knocking in the most luxury market there was.
Yep.
And really, from not having much of a track record, suddenly we were selling $6+ million teardowns.
So luxury doesn't have to be luxurious?
I mean, that definitely wasn't luxurious. I guess it was just the area and the dollar amounts we were dealing with.
But those $6 million houses turned into $35, $40 million listings down the road.
And I don't think we were even thinking about it at the time. At the time, we just wanted to do a deal.
Yep.
And a $6 million deal to this very day is a very big deal, right? It just happens to be this was just the land value amount of the property. So yes, by default, which we know now, we ended up not just selling the $6.5 million teardown, but also selling the finished product after the fact, which was nearly $40 million. So it's kind of wild.
Yeah, agreed, 100%. So don't think luxury is just selling beautiful, luxurious properties. Look at the long term. You sell a teardown and you maintain the relationship, it will come back 10, 15 times the price of what you sold it for. I like this one. What is one trend in luxury real estate that has surprised you recently? And I'm curious on your answer.
One trend in luxury real estate that's
it doesn't even need to be like, what's one thing that has surprised you in luxury? I know mine, but I'm
Nothing surprises
curious.
me anymore, to be honest with you. It's funny because whatever transaction we're dealing with, and I want to hear your story afterwards, but whatever it is, I see something new every single time. It's like, I can't believe that. Like, it never fails to deliver. I guess that's why they make TV shows out of luxury real estate, because there's just so many different things that can happen. But honestly, I mean, I've seen people buy beautiful houses before, like really nice houses, and literally tear them down. And to me, that's like, that was a beautiful house on a amazing lot. Yes, they can capitalize on that, but I've seen houses that are incredible, literally torn down to the ground.
Yeah, we've never ever we've never been surprised by something insane, so to speak, like that. I'll add, and it's not even a trend in luxury, but it's a life lesson, which is never judge a book by its cover. In luxury, we've shown $70, $80 million homes or $50 million pieces of land where somebody shows up in a beaten up $20,000 car. They look like they've come off the street, yet they got $5 billion in their account. Like, you just don't know who you're talking to. You don't know who you're dealing with. You don't know who you're representing. Treat everybody equally. You have no idea how it might come back. And for us, like, some of our biggest deals today started with a small lease. Never turn your nose up at something, never turn business away, because you just never know what that could turn into. And I remember when the whole crypto market went and started booming, I literally remember people coming to see listings of ours and they said they were in crypto. And so many people laughed or thought it was a scam. And by the way, kind of was back then. And some of these people today are now worth $2, $3, $4, $5 billion. So never, ever judge a book by its cover is the best advice that I can give to agents. How many agents, in your opinion, actually tap into these emerging trends in the luxury market without coming across as just sort of chasing what's hot, in your opinion? Like,
very few agents. It's funny because the level at which we play at, there's only a handful of agents. Like, we can name them all, basically. And very few, a lot of people try and tap into it, but very few people actually do. And I'm not saying this just to drum up activity, because it doesn't actually benefit us. But the truth is, just helping other people, being honest, I think people are just scared. They're just intimidated by the high-end luxury market. But
what are they intimidated
We've said it so many times. Because it's high end, because it's so exclusive, because it's untouchable. The truth is, every market is there for the taking, right? Buyers and sellers, whether it's the super high-end market, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 100, or 1, 2, 3, 4, or less than 1, they're all buyers and sellers. They're all humans, right? In many ways, like you mentioned before, that the higher-end market can sometimes be easier because you're dealing with people that are used to transacting. They're used to transacting. They're not selling their home after 60 years or, 50 years. I just think people are intimidated by it. And the
what
truth is,
intimidates you?
Doesn't. That's the whole point.
Right.
It's a complete false... it's a false pretense. People think that it's so intimidating, but actually it's the same as anything. And in some ways it can be actually easier. So nothing intimidated me or us. And that's exactly why we went straight into the luxury market with zero experience under our belt. And
because why not? Right?
Very little knowledge. I've shared at a school before, and I was with these school kids, and they were all around. And at first they were a little bit rowdy. I think, how am I going to deal with this lot, right? But by the end of it, I'm not just saying it, this was quite a few years ago. One of the kids asked, you see them all looking down and they're not concentrating. And one of the kids asked, why did you go into the luxury market? And I turned around and I said, why not? And everyone you got all the eyes just suddenly went up like that and they were applauding. It was like, great, thank God for that. I actually won
you
a
have
bunch
a
of
choice,
pesos.
like basically.
It was as simple as that. Why? Why not? That's all they needed to hear. And I think it really resonated with them. So that's why I'm sharing it.
So that's a good point and goes into my next question. Like, what is the biggest mistake that agents make when trying to break into luxury or even market luxury homes?
Firstly, you lose 100% of the shots you don't take, right? So if you're not going to give it a shot, it's 100% not going to happen. I've done deals before whereby it looked like there was probably less than 1% chance of that deal happening, right? But the truth is, you've got to present the offer. You've got to see it through. You've got to negotiate it because we are not the decision makers. We don't know how something's going to end up. I've done deals personally that have taken more than a year just in the negotiation, right? And I can give you many from 50 million to 70 million to whatever it is. The truth is that you have to see things through. You cannot let your fear override trying something. And the other thing is, whether you think you're right or wrong, you're right. So if I think I can't do something, I'm not going to do it. If I think I can do something, I'm going to do it. Remember those words, and that's what I go by. I'm not scared of anything, genuinely. Might look like I am, but I'm not scared of doing anything.
I love that. So remove the fear and don't be scared. And we're going to wrap this one up because we don't have a ton of time today, but what's the biggest lesson that you've learned about managing relationships with high net worth clients, let's say?
Forget their high net worth. Look at them as people at the end of the day. Again, it goes back to the relationship situation. Just because they got a ton of money, okay, that's great, but they're normal people, and I think everyone should be treated accordingly. By the way, there's very wealthy people out there that are not very nice people, and there's very wealthy people out there that are very nice people, and there's very people maybe with not a lot of money that are nice people, and a lot of people with not a lot of money that aren't nice people. I think you just have to judge a book by its cover in that respect, and you have to see people for who they are rather than what they have. I don't treat anyone that differently because of their bank balance. I treat them differently based on how they are as a human being and how they treat others, including us.
And as an agent, how do you deal with rejection? Something that...
I love rejection. It's my favorite thing in the world. Wow. If I'm rejected, it means I'm getting closer to actually getting a yes or getting closer to doing a deal. I love rejection. In fact, I like the chase. The harder it is, the more I'm going to give to it. So,
and when a deal falls out of escrow, how do you deal with that?
I get it right back in again. I just had a deal, last week, fall out of escrow. I'm like, okay, what's the issue? Let's jump on it. Let's get it back into escrow with this buyer or someone else. It's not if, it's when. I am going to get that deal back into escrow. I am going to close that deal. I guarantee you I will close that deal. It's just a blip. So you just got to not say, oh God, I lost this deal. It fell out of escrow. I'm so upset. Forget it. It fell out of escrow. Move on. Fix the problem if there is one. Find another buyer. Get it back in again and just get on with it. Keep looking forward. There's no point in looking backwards. It's very, very boring.
Is the glass half full or is it half empty? I think you have a choice, right? Your mentality is the choice. You could either be miserable, down, depressed, low, fear of rejection, feel sorry for yourself. The glass is inevitably half empty at that point. Or the glass can be half full. You have the choice. You can be positive. You can be encouraging. You can believe in yourself. You can have confidence. And I think what David is showcasing is the glass is half full because the other option is shit. So I love all of those answers.
But it's also what you genuinely believe will become reality. So if you think that you're never going to get that deal, the world's over, you're never going to get that client, you're never going to break into luxury real estate, I guarantee you that will become the truth. If you actually believe I'm going to do it, I'm not going to give up, I'm going to deal with rejection, I don't give a fuck. I guarantee you, you will be successful and you will achieve what you want to achieve. There's nothing else to it. Well, there's a lot more to it, but that is the main mindset you have to have.
And one takeaway, one step agents can make this week to better position themselves for success in the luxury market.
Believe in yourself. Go for it. Don't be scared. I mean, if someone else has done it, if we have done it, right? Yes, we have British accents, but there's other people that have done it without British accents. But the truth is, if someone else has done it and other people are doing it, the only reason you will not succeed is if you fail, sorry, not if you fail, if you give up, if you don't give it a shot, if you don't stay in your lane, and if you don't work hard enough. That's the bottom line. Make mistakes. We've said it before. Make as many mistakes as you want, but learn from those mistakes. Stay on course, never give up, and go for it.
Well, that's it. David Pons.
Sorry, that was my second coffee, by the way. Really
after
kicked
2
in.
coffees, you got it all. That wraps up yet another episode of Rise Above the Ranks. Thank you to everybody tuning in and listening or watching on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Be sure to like and subscribe and follow for more from Rise Above the Ranks and Estate Media. And please do leave us a comment on who you'd like to see on future episodes. Thank you so much.